we reported that the flotilla had some weather problems. This is the third attempt at getting aid to Gaza from a humanitarian group being put together. The flotilla, this is an entire caravan of ships coming out of Italy. Greta Thunberg was on the original one. We told you about how that one ended. Craig Pasta and myself kind of debating whether or not that was sincere or if it was just for show. It seemed that Greta didn't have her shit together, as they say, the first time. It sounds like, and then the second one happened. You had the labor movement activist Christian Smalls was on the second one. Both of those first two were detained. They were treated really, really horribly, really bad conditions, especially Christian Smalls. He was assaulted by the IDF. He's come back and spoke about it since, but this was another mission they put together. Greta's back on that. She's got some other people on there as well. And it looks like this one, as we reported last week, this flotilla has a labor movement backing now from the ground, from Italy, from the dock workers who said out loud, and these are the Italian workers, this is what they said, that if they block this flotilla, we block everything. And they have the ability to do that. So this Italian dock workers, they prepare to strike for the global flotilla. This would be the one that, again, it got delayed because of weather, but it finally got off and going a few days ago, and it's preparing to get to Gaza by early or later this week or early next week. I don't have an exact date, but it's coming up soon. Yeah, they're ready to shut down. And when they say shut down, they really it's not a joke. These guys can do that. They have the ability because they control a lot of the trade going through Europe to Israel. They just have to get all of the unions on the same page, which they have. So we covered this last week. This has been the demands that you allow this flotilla to get to the destination. And if the IDF does anything, then you will face the consequences, Israel. You will not have the support of the workers. And there's nothing our governments can do about it because we decide to shut down the labor force because we are the labor force. And that's how protesting works. You make your demands and you demonstrate this is what the world looks like if we don't do our jobs. And this is who's going to suffer in this case. Okay. So all that's been put out there. We thought maybe they'd make it. Maybe they'd make it this time. Maybe Israel would go, we don't want all of our trade being shut down from Europe because of the workers. We don't want that. Well, unfortunately, this flotilla was indeed attacked. And this happened yesterday. Here's what we know so far. This isn't a very good telling of it, of course, because it's coming from the mainstream, but we're going to piece this one together. Here it is. So they're using this. This is Greta. They're using a picture from the first flotilla, the worst picture they could find, just to let you know. So Gaza-bound aid boat carrying Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg set on fire after drone strike. They have that in quotes. The Gaza-bound boat carrying Swedish climate and political activist Greta Thunberg has been set on fire after being struck by a drone. The crew have claimed. You see how they say they claimed it? So we don't know if it's true. The Portugal flag vessel was reportedly hit while anchored outside the port of Sidi Bou Said in Tiziana. Now, the Global Summit Flotilla, the organizers of the flotilla, added everybody is safe. Okay, so no one got hurt and no one got captured. Okay, that's good news. And if you go down to the bottom here, the spokesman for the Guard told the Tunisian radio station, this FM radio station, that the reports of the strike have no basis in truth. And then you look at their backstory, which is also very disturbing, telling us that, okay, so you have the boats in a convoy that are supposed to deliver food and medicine to Palestinians in an attempt to break the Israeli blockade. The flotilla, which departed Barcelona last week, is expected to reach its final destination next week. Really? I hope it is. Do you know something we don't? Evening Standard? Do you know, did Netanyahu contact you directly and say we're not gonna hurt them anymore? We're gonna let them get there? I don't know how they're expected to get there. Okay. So the Israeli government has characterized, and this is what the Western media loves to do. Loves to tell us what Israel says and takes it for actually having any sort of merit at all, which it doesn't, because they lie all the time. The Israeli government has characterized Thunberg's attempt to sail to the Palestinian enclave as publicity stunts that offer no real assistance, other than the fact that the boats are carrying aid. That's assistance. That's aid. So they're saying it's not actually anything of substance other than food and water for people. Last month, the Integrated Food Security Phase classification said that Gaza was suffering from famine, which the UN argues is a direct result of Israel's systematic obstruction of aid entering Gaza. In March, Israel introduced a nearly 3-month total blockade on supplies entering Gaza amid allegations it was seized by Hamas. So there's their justification. They had to, because Hamas was stealing it. And then, of course, they end it with Netanyahu's administration has since tried to impose its own distribution system through Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which we've covered on the show, is a corrupt entity, and the entire thing is a big joke, and it's all designed to keep the plan going, which is to starve the Palestinians to death, which was always the plan. And for some reason, we cannot all get on the same page about that. So now we have to go to other sources to get what's really happening. This is from suppressed news. The footage, we're about to see this, is the moment it was bombed by a drone right off the coast. It's the family boat carrying committee members under the Portuguese flag was struck by a suspected drone. This is the boat that carries the same people that were on the previous one. That includes Greta Thunberg, as we said earlier. And to verify everybody is safe, no one got injured in this. But there is an investigation underway, and they plan to continue. They plan to continue once they put everything back together. Here is a couple shots of what happened. This is from the actual security cam on the boat, which they have to keep going at all times because they know at any moment, at any day or night, at any time, they can be attacked. And here's another shot of it from outside in the water.
Au secours, il y avait une sorte de, je sais pas c'est quoi, mais c'était une sorte d'explosion. Là, c'est live. J'espère que les personnes vont bien.
Okay. Now, there's a ton of smears online as well about this. There's one false claiming that they did it to themselves, that they faked it. So we've seen every sort of twist and turns, and these are all Israeli accounts. I'm not even going to bother to show you guys this because we looked at that and we're like, how are people putting this out there, pretending that this wasn't a strike, pretending that they're going to go out there and do it to themselves. So this is the kind of reaching that we see coming from Zionist accounts. So I'm not even going to do them any sort of, I'm not even going to give them a platform to show these horrible, horrible depictions of what is obviously an attack. Obviously an attack. You just have to look at patterns, guys. It's not it's not hard to do. And again, this is the problem with the mainstream, always giving Israel the benefit of the doubt. Every time they tell them another lie, we say, well, we didn't know they were lying. Yes, you did. They lie every time. So you just look at patterns of behavior. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Look, if we find out that it was a different drone attack or a different tool, then we'll adjust the story later. But out of everything we have, this is what this looks like. And I'm not going to beat around and say, pretend, oh, we got to also cover the fact that maybe Greta set herself on fire. That's a possibility because a Zionist account told me that. No, we're not going to play that game. We're not playing that game. Okay, here's one of the Flotilla members telling us what just happened. This is during a live feed. I guess they did on their own Instagram account, but this is an actual report from the scene of the crime.
Everyone, Yasmin here. The family boat has been officially attacked. A drone came right above it, released a bomb, and it exploded, and the boat was on fire. Everyone on that boat is okay. The fire is out, but I want to tell you that this boat was the boat that every person from the Madeleine, the old Madeleine crew, was on, which is Greta, me, Tiago, Schweib, and so many more amazing people. They have bombed a boat once again with civilians on it in Tunisian territory. This is an attack against Gaza because they don't want us there. So we need you to mobilize. Let's not stay quiet.
And this is just what we're going to have to do. Mobilize. And this is, again, back to the workers. We know that the workers have said, we will shut it down if you guys come after the flotilla. And they have. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on in Italy. But meanwhile, over in Spain, there's also some good news. So it seems that we're getting little by little, we're getting responses to Israel's crimes. We're getting pushback. We're getting people standing up, people in the streets and governments. Let's see what the prime minister is up to in Spain, because this is also very important. Here we go. From Al Jazeera, Spain Prime Minister Sanchez imposes arms embargo on Israel to stop Gaza genocide. Well, here we go. I believe this is the first country doing that. To stop arms embargo. That's awesome. Spain has announced sweeping measures against Israel, including a total arms embargo, with Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez saying the move is aimed at stopping the genocide in Gaza and supporting the Palestinian population. There's a difference between defending your country and bombing hospitals or starving innocent children. Sanchez, one of the most vocal critics of Israel's military campaign in Gaza, said in a speech posted from his official X account. Here he is telling us more about that. Actually, yes, here we go.
Más España ha impulsado varios procesos políticos.
Spain has promised key political internationals, such as the international recognition of the state of Palestine and the creation of a global alliance to implement the two-state solution. Okay, I'll stop you there. Israel doesn't want the two-state solution, so you can push for it, but that was never in the plan from Israel's side. Just throwing it out there. But I get it. You have to kind of inch it forward. I get it. But that's never actually been a thing. I just wanted to put that out there. But again, it's very good that he's doing this. It's only, which is only possible solution. Well, no, actually, a two-state solution is not the only possible solution. Another possible solution is Israel can no longer exist in the way that it's been formed, which is a military occupation, illegal state of apartheid, an ethno state, and a genocidal maniac state. That can no longer exist. That's actually another solution. So it wouldn't be two-state. It would be one state, Palestine, and Israel no more. Does not mean we want all the people living there dead. No, it means that the thing that was implemented there should no longer exist. And the people can go wherever they go, wherever that might be. Wherever that might be. Maybe we can go back to Palestine the way it was when Christians, Jews, and Muslims all lived peacefully together. Or you can get on an effing boat and go back to New York. How about that? Or back to Europe, back to Poland. You could do that. But I digress. This is very good that the prime minister in Spain is doing this. Very good. And all these efforts have served to combat the difference, even if only slightly, the suffering of the Palestinian people, and to give them a glimmer of hope. And yet, as I said before, it has not managed to stop the massacre. That is why the Spanish government has decided to go one step further and immediately implement 9 additional measures to stop the genocide in Gaza, prosecute those responsible, and support the Palestinian people. Prosecute. Wow. Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, well, let's look at this breakdown from Ahmed Al-Din. There's 9 sanctions Spain just hit Israel with. There's an arms embargo, a ban on settlement goods, port and airspace restrictions, and entry bans for war criminals. And then you get a checkbox for more aid to Gaza and UNRWA. The strongest move by any EU state since the war began. Who's next? And I just need to correct you there, Ahmed. It's not a war. It was a genocide. A war is when you have 2 states. 2 states can fight a war. One state occupies another, then that state is no longer a state that can defend itself. Therefore, it's not a war. It's a genocide. That's what it is. Okay. But the last part is a great question. Who's next? Who's next? Great question. Okay. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But in the meantime, unfortunately, Netanyahu is still up to no good. And he's literally threatening the remaining Gazans that are left to leave or die. He just put this out. And I appreciate the translation by the TikToker who did this.
I promised you a few days ago that we will take down the terror towers in Gaza, and this is exactly what we are doing. In the past couple of days, 50 such towers were taken down by the Air Force. Now all this is only an introduction to the Sifta, to the powerful main act, which is a ground maneuver of our forces who are now assembling and organizing into Gaza City. And this is why I say to the residents of Gaza, I take this opportunity. Listen carefully. You have been warned. Leave now.
You have been warned. Leave now. Wow. Wow. So that's it. He can continue to parade around threatening to murder people right on live TV, shared around the world, and we're still just going to act like that's Israel defending itself. This is a war. You know what? This is a war. It's not a war between Palestine and Israel. It's a war between Israel committing a genocide and the rest of us fighting back because we have the means to. We have the means to. Like the workers in Italy have the means to get into the street. Like the Flotilla members, they get on the boat and try. If it didn't work the first 2 times, they try again. We have the ability to do this. The kids on the college campuses have the ability. We have the ability to make demands, to cut off funding, to divest funding, and to know that that's where the war is. So when people misuse war, you got to correct them and say the war is not in Gaza. That's called an annihilation of people. That's called a genocide. The war is in the rest of the world. We're fighting back on behalf of Palestine, who cannot fight because they do not have a state. So we correct that language. We're fighting the war on behalf of Palestine, on behalf of humanity. We'll keep an eye on the flotilla and we hope it gets to its destination. Okay, let me take a moment to introduce you to our good friends over at World Harvest Food Bank right here in LA. World Harvest has been serving families across Los Angeles for 18 years now. And they started with this simple idea. Everyone deserves access to healthy, affordable food, no matter what they're going through. With their Cart with a Heart program, families can walk away with a full cart of groceries, fresh produce, dairy, meat, and pantry supplies for just a $50 contribution. That's for the entire cart. That same cart will cost over $300 at a typical grocery store. At World Harvest, everyone is welcome. They don't ask for income verification, ID, or any paperwork. No. Basically, their doors are open to anyone who's doing their best, but just needs a little extra push to get by. If you're an Angelino like me, you know the times have been tough here. First with all the union strikes, the LA fires, and now the ICE raids going on. It seems like we're living in a constant state of uncertainty. And that's why it's so important to support local charities like World Harvest, because they aren't just helping the community. They're an essential function in its very survival. World Harvest is located at Venice and Arlington. And right now, you can use our special discount code THL20 for 20% off your contribution amount at checkout. And if you're not in the LA area, you can still help out with a $50 donation, which will provide a full cart of food for a family by going to worldharvestfoodbank.org or scan the QR code for more info. Or you can just spread the word. Follow them online. Let people know they're here for them, because at the end of the day, it's about providing choice, access, and relief without barriers. World Harvest Food Bank. End hunger now.